Welcome to this new video about Assetto Corsa Evo, in which we're simply going to talk about the game. First, of course, we'll talk about the new 0.8 update. I'll show you all the new features, the new cars, and the new Kyalami circuit. By the way, maybe we'll start with that, just to give you a quick tour and show you what it looks like in the game. So, we're going to test new cars, we're going to test the new circuit. I'll tell you about all the new features in this 0.8 update. And then, after that, we'll talk a little bit about where we are overall regarding the game's development, because it's true that the state of the game is concerning. I don't know if that's the right word, but in any case, I think we're in a situation where, as players, we have the right to ask a few questions about where we are with the game, where we are with the main features like the open world, and we're going to talk a little bit about the things we actually know, the things that are currently happening in the game's development, and what to expect in the coming months. So here, we're starting by testing the new 4TM, which is in the GT4 version. A car that's barely customizable. That's why I'm showing you driving mode gameplay right away. With it, it's a race car, so obviously race cars on Assetto Corsa Evo don't have much customization. What can we do? We can change the color of the headlights, either clear or yellow, the color of the rims, and that's about it. After that, we can add the different LEDs, you know, the different lights on it. It's a race car, so it's not a car that's particularly customizable. It's a 4-cylinder car that produces, I think, 360 horsepower, something like that, for 900 and some kilos. So it's a car that's very light and still quite powerful. It's a car I'm not very familiar with. So here, let's say we're really going to figure out how it plays together as we go. Also, I'm not familiar with the Kyalami circuit, so I can't say if it's well made. I suppose so, because when it comes to content modeling in general, whether it's the cars or the tracks, Assetto Evo is actually pretty good at that. You can't really fault them for much, but it's a track I'm not very familiar with. I think I've done it on a few other games, but honestly, I don't like this track. So, I never bothered to learn it. And well, right now, when a corner comes up, I have no idea what's behind it. So, if my driving is a bit jerky, don't blame me, that's just how it is. You can't know every track, so there you go. New car, Kyalami circuit. And what else do we have as a new feature? We have a new system. Hold on, let me take this opportunity to show you as well. Different little things about this car. Well, this car isn't very customizable. You can't change the turbo level, you can't change the display. The only things you'll be able to switch afterwards are the driving assistance, so everything like traction control, stability control, and everything that goes with it. But, not really. Let's say things that are really fun to use in the car while it's driving. As for other new features, obviously the new cars and new tracks, we now have the possibility to use car mods in multiplayer. Indeed, until now we could create mods, we could use them but only in solo. I don't know if that's the main reason why there are so few mods available for Assetto Corsa Evo. For example, if you go to the Overtake website, there are only 5 different modded cars for Assetto Corsa Evo, whereas for Assetto Corsa, the original one, on the internet, you can literally find 15,000 mods, I think, for cars, something like that. Anyway, now, the mods that could only be used in solo. Up until now, you could do your little race with your custom car, but you couldn't go online with it. Now, that's changed, you can go online with it. Obviously, it's going to be the server creator who decides which cars are allowed or not. But maybe this will motivate players a little. Maybe it'll make them want to play. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. But maybe, indeed, this will encourage players to create more mods, since now we can finally enjoy them in multiplayer. So, I'm showing you Kyalami at night to give you a sense of the racing atmosphere and lighting. And on top of that, we're testing another car from the update, the KTM X 1000, but this time in the GT2 version. So here, instead of the 4-cylinder, we have a 5-cylinder engine from Audi, if I'm not mistaken, a 5-cylinder turbo. Our car now weighs 1,200 kg instead of 900, making it heavier, but it's also much more powerful. Since before, we had 360 horsepower. With the GT4 here in the GT2, we have 600, so it's much more powerful. In my opinion, this car might be harder to drive due to its extra power. Maybe not. We'll see about that. In any case, Axel Kyalami, he still looks pretty good, with all those little racing decorations, the little lights, the small and big wheels, that sort of racing festival vibe, which is actually pretty nice overall, especially during night races. We also have, as a new feature in this update, a new livery editor system. So, I'll tell you right away, if you're a Forza player, don't expect to find a Forza-style livery editor in this game. Super intuitive, with beautiful menus that are extremely easy to use. Here, We're talking about a separate tool developed specifically for the game, which actually allows us to customize the car liveries. It's something that's much less intuitive, but on the other hand, it really does let you do pretty much anything you want. Really, you can literally design any sticker you want and put it on the car exactly how you want, with no restrictions at all. There's also a rework of virtual reality, VR, in this update. Now, I can't show you that in this video because I don't have a VR headset that's compatible with my PC, so I can't show you what it looks like. But overall, it's up to you to tell me what you think in the comments. Whether you're a VR player or just in general, you can let me know what you think about this update, good or bad. But normally with this update, we're supposed to have much better smoothness. In VR, it's true that up until now, VR worked, but you really needed a beast of a setup to run it. For the simple reason that in VR, up until now, the game calculated absolutely everything that had to be displayed across the full 360 degrees. Imagine you're looking straight ahead. The game would still calculate what's happening behind you, and it would do it in high quality. But now, with this update and the VR mode, they've added a new type of rendering, where, in fact, it will calculate everything that's in your field of view, right in front of you, with a very high level of detail. The more you move toward the edges of the FOV, the less detail there will be, the less precise it gets. Even so, it's still going to look nice. And, everything that's not visible in your field of view won't be calculated or will be calculated in really low quality. So, normally it's a performance boost, and it's also a quality boost, because since you'll be able to get better smoothness, you can turn the graphics up a bit instead. And the good news as well. And that's more of a quality of life update, let's say. Now, the VR performance and graphics modes are separate from the game's normal graphics modes. So, what does that actually mean? It means that when you have a VR headset, if sometimes you like to play with VR and sometimes without, well, you won't have to completely reconfigure your game's graphics settings anymore. Every time you put on the VR headset or every time you unplug it, you'll be able to adjust your graphics settings. One way when you have the headset on, and another way when you don't have the VR headset. The game automatically switches to the right performance mode depending on whether the headset is connected and whether you're playing in VR, which is great news. A new car was added in this update. Let me show you what it looks like in the game menus, because it's a bit more customizable. It's the Volkswagen Golf 8R, which actually has a bit more customization. You can choose the exterior paint, you can choose whether or not to activate the black package. If it's not black, all the details are bluish, and I haven't found a way to change their color. That means, no matter if you change the car's paint or not, the grille and some other small things stay blue. I don't think it looks good, so I'm not sure if it's a bug or accurate to real life, but I think I've seen some Golf R before. Where the small grille, for example, if this one isn't blue, it's the same color as the body, not black. So, in short, there's that. There are the ambient lights where you can choose the color. You can set them to red, to blue. By the way, does it work? Wait, maybe I'm not thinking of the ambient lights. Maybe it's over there. It's just the little things. Oh, right, those aren't lights. They're trims. So the change is actually over there. It's on the dashboard and we have the rims that we can put on, either in an Adelaide style or the Estoril style, with either a diamond finish or color. In that case, you can pick any color you want. I'll show you a bit of gameplay in the rain. Not that I'm thrilled to play in the rain, but because there are new rain handling and water clearing animations on the windshield with proper animations that match the water runoff effects. So, that's actually pretty cool. Are there some little things we can test on the Volkswagen before we go drive it? We don't have different displays, no mode adjustments, so wait, we don't have turbo settings, but we do have several performance modes. I don't know what they correspond to. I admit the writing is small. All I see is that when we select this one, well, wait, it's not clear. This one must be the road mode, I guess. Maybe here is the sport mode, and here, maybe, in my opinion, the track mode. I think it's something like that. Okay, well, listen, we're going to go drive it, then we'll put it back a little bit. Because I also wanted to quickly come back to where we are with Assetto Corsa Evo. Recently, the game had two updates close together. 0.7 a month ago now, 0.8. That's notable since it's the first time this has happened on Assetto Evo. That is, until now, the updates were spaced 3 months apart, but now, 2 updates in 2 months. We're kind of wondering what's going on, and it's true. Actually, we're kind of wondering what's going on in general, overall, regarding the development of the game. Sometimes, and that's exactly what I wanted to come back to, because it's true that ever since this 0.8 was announced, I see a lot of comments from people who are very worried about the future of the game, and I wanted to talk a bit more about that. Even though I don't have any insider info, I don't have any incredibly surprising information to give you about the game. When you look a bit at what's happening in the comments, I see people saying that because the latest updates for Assetto Evo have mainly focused on race cars and not on road cars, which could prove a realignment of the game in favor of more of an Assetto Competizione kind of thing. Track? Oops. Sorry, not track. I don't know why I said that. Assetto Competizione again. So, and that would be, let's say, proof that the developers are starting to abandon the open world. So, fewer road cars, because there's less need if there's no open world, and more race cars. If we're dealing with a game that's focused only on circuits, that might be the case. But I think the fact that the developers have been focusing a lot on race cars recently is mainly because, honestly, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Now, that's it. We're in the spring-summer period, and during this time, there's Le Mans. There are a whole bunch of real-life racing championships, way more than in winter, of course, and there's also Goodwood. There are plenty of things related to the world of cars and competition. So, I just think the developers have sped up the addition of race cars, simply to better match this real-life schedule, actually, and the expectations of the players. In my opinion, that's part of it. I hope that's the reason, that it's not something else. Honestly, I just don't want us to discover in a few months that open-world development was abandoned. Honestly, I don't think that'll be the case. It's true that, actually, there are a lot of people who are worried to see that we're at update 0.8 of the game. That, supposedly, there would be only 2 more updates to the game before reaching 1.0. And the fact that we have no news about the open world is particularly worrying. So yes, it's worrying not to have any news about the open world. Clearly, it's a year behind schedule, so yes, that's a big problem. However, we shouldn't forget that the developers did show us a few images of the open world not that long ago. 2 months ago, new images showed progress on traffic and certain features, so it seems they haven't given up on it. I clearly don't think that's the case. I think if the developers give up on the open world, they're actually giving up on Assetto Evo, because that's really the thing that made people buy Assetto Evo. It was the promises about the open world. Not only that, but among other things. And if they give up on that feature, they're actually giving up on what makes Assetto Evo a bit of a unique game. Because honestly, the driving is really good, the graphics are really good, the cars are really beautiful, but there are plenty of games with great driving and great graphics out there. What made the difference was having an ultra-realistic open world with simulation driving that doesn't exist anywhere else. So, I don't think they're giving up on it. I also think we're not at all just 2 updates away from version 1.0. It's true that up until now, the developers have done updates from 0 to 1, meaning we've had update 0, 0.1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, etc., up to 0.8. And for that reason, some people think the next one will be 0.9 and the one after that will be 1.0. In my opinion, guys, we're far from 1.0. I think what's going to happen after 0.9 is that we'll move to 0.10, and it'll keep going like that until the game is really ready, and we finally get the final version, the gold build, the 1.0. In the meantime, I think the developers haven't abandoned the open world. I still think we're dealing with a game that has already had a lot cut from it, and it's in a bit of a complicated situation in terms of player numbers too. Right now, as I'm making this video, even though the update just came out, there are 1,200 concurrent players, while at the same time, on Assetto 1, which came out 10 years ago, there are 8,000 players. So let's say about 7 times more. So I think they've given up on a lot of things, and I think they know very well that if they give up on one more big thing, after giving up on the career mode, for example, they know the game is dead. Actually, the problem with Assetto is communication. It's not clear. It's never clear. It's always a bit, how can I say this? Foggy, you know, and that's not reassuring. And I think it's more a matter of communication, actually, than anything else. I think they should clearly say where they stand, and update the roadmaps once and for all with, realistic goals. When we see a 1-year delay for the open world, we might wonder if it still exists. But if they suddenly say they've made progress, it's different. Given the pace we're moving at, we can guarantee you 100% that it's coming in November 2026. That already sounds very different. Well, we'll see how it turns out. Still, this 0.8 update does add quite a lot of things, doesn't it? We actually have multiplayer mods, we have the livery systems, and we have improved graphics, VR optimization, slightly reworked driving, 3 new cars, a new track. That's quite a lot of new features. So, it's an important update. It may not be the biggest or the one we expected as players. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more videos, and like this one. Let me remind you that if you want to try your luck with Assetto Corsa Evo, it's 50% cheaper. And my streaming link is found below this video, so there you go. You can buy it much cheaper by giving a little support to my channel through that link. Also, don't hesitate to come follow me on Twitch, where I regularly do live streams. You should come follow. You should be the first to support my channel. And well, all I have left to say is this. Have a great day, enjoy your game, enjoy discovering magic, and see you soon for the next one. Hopefully, we'll have some news about the game soon. That's it, bye.